know about us is not that we have a problem with time,
It's
but
not
it
our
is
strength.
12:17 now. And we're working on it. But
It's
that's
usually
a good
technology. Facebook Live and all these devices, it takes a lot.
I understand.
I think we're a work in progress. Can we just agree to disagree?
Welcome
Yes,
to
welcome.
the Chix and Confidence Real Table Talk.
Good morning.
We have a mediator. We have a mediator today between the sisters.
Between them.
Yes, that's what you have to do to them.
Our apologies that we were not able to have a Real Table Talk show last week. We had some different things happening.
Yes,
Like one
scheduling
being, I went traveling. What did you do?
I can't say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She had an appointment.
And you
And
had
I was
something
filming.
else to
I was
do.
filming something for work, and so here we are. We
Life
apologize, and we promise that this show will be worth the wait.
And if you are a first timer here, say hello. Tell us where you're joining from, and let me give you some background information as to what are we, what is our goal, what is our vision. We are just Chix in Confidence. You'll learn more about who we are as a tribe, as a community. But it's basically a group of women created. This platform that we have here is we've done it so that we can help other women who, like us, are in pursuit of anything and everything that they want to achieve in life. But like you know, most of the things we want in life take some sort of journey and transition and transformation to go through. So we would welcome you to grab your earphones, grab your note and paper, because the teacher in me will always bring out some notes for you to take.
That's right.
If you're driving, make sure to come back and take the notes, because we don't want you driving and writing, okay?
No, safety first.
But we're definitely going to have some real girl talk. And I think it's something that society today is missing.
Oh my God,
And
yes.
we normally have these conversations behind the scenes, and we're just bringing that into the open. So happy Tuesday!
We're happy to be back, guys, and thanks for joining us. I think that we missed each other. I hope
How was
Yes.
everyone's weekend? Let's start
Good.
there.
So first, Norris, Melissa.
Oh, Nora's here.
Melissa, sorry.
I'm
drinking
Denise.
coffee.
And I'm Saudi. And so, how was your weekend, Norris?
My weekend was absolutely amazing. So this young lady over there decided...
The bully, you know.
The bully. Thankful for you, actually.
They're sisters, by the way, for those who are just tuning in.
So,
And I'm not going to say who's younger.
oh gosh.
Here we go.
Missy over here decided to go on a spontaneous date with her husband to the
I
Caribbean.
didn't decide that. He decided
He
that.
decided,
I
but
just
then
go
she
along
said,
with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Go with
That
the
was
flow, and I
awesome.
understand, and I was part of the whole process of allowing her to go, because without me, she wasn't able to, because of the kids.
Absolutely.
That happens to us.
That's her way of saying thank you for all of the things I did to her the week prior.
Yo, I was stuck with two teenagers, two 10-year-olds, and my son, who's 6, who's living in a body of 21 years old. So it was a lot of fun for me. So this weekend, I finally got some rest, and she took over the kids, and I was able to enjoy some quality time with my hubby.
Oh, so that made up for it.
Yeah.
So that's why
She
you
owes me 6 more days though, because I counted every 7 days.
Oh my God.
She's
6
going to
more
make
days.
me
So
You're adopting
pay.
them like little by little.
Oh, absolutely.
And I already
I'm gonna
had my
extend them.
sleepless night, so that's okay.
I have an idea. And the cruise, you could leave the kids with her one night.
No, I could actually go to
Mira, Melissa, sinceramente, I don't want you
You
there.
told it right enough last week when I wasn't here. All right, so
Too much.
what did I do? My cousin was in town,
Awesome.
and she came to celebrate her birthday with us. Isn't that nice?
That
She's
is
come all the way
very
from
nice.
Florida to celebrate with her family. And we just loved on her, worked out together on Friday, hung out on Saturday, and then on Sunday again.
Oh, that's
So
so cool.
that was the highlight of my weekend.
Celebrating life is a beautiful thing, and especially with loved ones.
Yes, absolutely. Well, because of her, I know all of you guys, so I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I know.
so
That's
I
so
will
cool.
celebrate her forever.
So you guys already know that this one was in the Dominican Republic, and
But
so
I will have something to say about my weekend, but that's
Oh,
okay.
you
I'm
can
gonna
go.
let you
Skip
talk.
you.
No,
No, I won't skip you.
I'm gonna let Sally talk. No, let Sally talk.
You forgot about
You'll
Big
say,
Club. So
that's
we,
okay, you'll say that.
we had an incredibly busy weekend. So February is a
Forgot to
busy
mention
month in
that.
general. You guys all know that. Along with Valentine's Day, both of the men in my house their birthdays are in February. So this weekend we were still celebrating hubby's birthday. We did spa weekend. We also had work, and so we had an amazing fit club. And let me just tell you guys, this one was very special for me because we had stopped doing fit clubs in this particular location because of the fact that they were in renovations. For those that don't know, PS19, because I know a lot of my followers went to that school, it has an annex building that's just out of this world, and we had the pleasure of doing an event there. But let me just tell you what happened. So it so happens that 6 years that same day, my team was there at an event while I was still living in Florida, and it came up on their feed, and we recreated a photo, you know, to kind of celebrate. It was very emotional. And the other big aha moment was that my sister, who I've been harassing to, you know, start eating healthier and being a part of this movement, went to the event and was very motivated and moved. And she was able to feel something that she has never felt, where when you work out, if there's something that happens to you mentally, physically, it's like an out-of-body experience where the adrenaline hits you. And she texted me the next day, how do I do that workout again that I did that day?
That's awesome.
That's
So
powerful.
it was.
And seeing KK work out.
Oh my God, my niece
She's
was
the
like,
cutest.
I loved your conference, Titi.
And that's what I had to share, because
Aw.
my husband, although he, you know, picked up and said, we're going to DR for 6 days, I was like, but make sure I am back by Saturday because I cannot miss this.
Aw.
Because it is special and dear to my heart when we get together as a team to work out
It's
together,
fun.
and we bring our families along the way. My daughter came with me, and we got to spend time together. We got to connect again and see so many new faces, and that just fills my heart with joy. Also, something that happened was I watched the movie A Star Is Born.
Finally!
Yes!
Oh my God, I've just been harassing
Have
him
you
to
guys
watch
watched
it.
that movie, A Star
Everyone
Is Born?
needs to watch that movie.
If you
It's so
haven't,
powerful.
please jot it down in your calendar of to-dos.
Have you watched it? The chemistry between those two.
That
Ooh.
story,
Oh my
and
God.
it's everything
It's-
about it. It was so well done. I had
And you know,
while
a
without
lot
watching
of
a
people
movie like
knock
that.
the fact that, like, so the chemistry between
It was there, I'm sorry. It
you know,
exists.
and I know he has a
You
wife,
can't make
and
that
I know
up.
he has a child, but
I don't think he's
There's-
married.
I,
Well, you know,
he
he
was
hasn't-
with his
she's having a
girlfriend
baby
to
with
the
him.
yeah,
Oscars.
I mean, she's been showing up to everything now because obviously she sees it. Like, she sees what I see. Like, I'm the type of person I have no filter. Like, I respect, you know, Unity. I respect his
Very
wife.
much. And all the
But
all the
I
rest
have
of it.
no freaking filter. And if I want to say that they have chemistry, that's what I'm going to say. Because
And I think
that's,
they do.
But
I
it
mean,
was evident in the movie. We don't want to
Yeah.
spoil it for
Yeah.
you guys, but it's a must watch if you haven't.
And then he
seen
showed up to her show or whatever. That's another show in
Yes,
itself.
but
let's not keep them waiting too
Yes.
long because
No,
we do
yeah, we
have
can
a
talk
very
on forever.
deep topic. You know,
Can I
last
just
time
say something about your highlight? Norris and I witnessed this. It was so amazing to see Noemi sitting down watching you speak.
Oh my God!
Yes,
Yes.
I
Did
got
you
it.
get a photo?
I
video?
actually have a video of it. She
Wow.
literally, she was like,
She was
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
she's memorized.
and I was
by
like,
her
oh,
mommy.
these are the
Yeah.
moments, like right
Yeah.
here.
Aw,
It was
I didn't know
special.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
didn't
just
know
wanted to
that.
surprise you.
I do know that we worked out together. She came to the side of me and she was doing like the burpees and the
I have
jumps
video and
with
stuff
me.
of that.
And that is one thing that I was like, oh, those are
Yeah.
moments that you don't record, but that are in your
I
heart.
recorded it, and I
And
have
they
I
stay
have
for
clips.
a while.
I was the photographer.
So we have a conversation to be had today at this table, and I think it's something that you're very much going to be. You're going to find yourself identified with it because it's something that I think we all deal with, and it's like this little monster that shows up in our lives, if not daily, like I don't
It's
know.
daily.
Very-
And we'll
It's
talk about
daily.
it.
It's daily.
And it's something that you may have heard about it. It's called the imposter syndrome. And when you hear the word imposter syndrome, you're going to think like, okay, so who's the imposter here? And reality is, there's always like a big you and a little you. And the little you is the imposter who's always trying to bring down the big you. And the way that the little you is going to bring down the big one is by infusing in you doubt and lack of belief and lack of confidence. So whenever, and this is why I think it happens to us on a daily basis, because we're faced with moments in which we're challenged to do things that make us feel uncomfortable or to step into our power or a better version of ourselves. And automatically the imposter syndrome turns on and it makes you feel like I can't do that. I don't believe in myself, but I'm scared. But what am I going to say? But I don't have enough. But I'm not enough. But I don't look this way. But I'm not that way.
Or
I
that's
haven't
not for
done
me.
this.
Or, you know, I'm not worthy of that. Or, you know, that's for them. That's the one thing that I see repeat itself in not just my mind, but everybody's mind.
And I think this month of February, we focus so much on the idea of self-love and self-care and getting to know one another better. I think it's good to identify the fact that you are living with the imposter syndrome. You may not realize it, and you may feel like you're feeling like you can't move forward in life, but in reality, you're just dealing with that imposter who's that nasty little creature. And let's just uncover him today, and
let's uncover that little sucker.
We'll share some tips on what we do in order to shut it down and to get out of our way so that we can feel successful. Because I'm gonna say that, and then I'll hand it over. But I think there's a moment when we feel successful, and most of the time we feel unsuccessful because we're constantly in that battle of tug of war of that's what you think of me, little me, but this is who I am, big me. And it's that constant struggle that we have to every single day try to strengthen so that we can.
It's like a psychological state of mind, like state of feeling that affects our mindset. And so when you're constantly feeding into that, you never see or achieve, like you won't achieve what you want. You won't achieve success. And that's why we wanted to help you figure out ways like we have.
And you'll identify that it's happening. Let's say, for example, if something big is happening, you know how I know my mother-in-law always says this, you know, you're feeling the pressure or you're feeling the resistance because something big is coming.
Yes.
La prueba grande que tú estás pasando porque algo bueno viene, la bendición viene atrás. And it's so true. But the blessing will only come if you're able to surpass that moment. So, for instance, you're in a place where you are consistently doing the same old thing, the same old thing, the same old thing. You're not noticing that you have something to share, like a story to say. Someone will invite you to state your story or to participate. Like it has happened to me. I was invited to be a speaker at what we call the Latino Cumbre in Summit, which is our big convention.
There was like
of the
500
year.
people there, and it was a big deal. And
I'm
anybody
gonna
would freak out.
Obviously, I would have felt more comfortable if they would have asked me to speak at a workshop, which is a smaller group. But this is the main screen. This is the main event as a keynote speaker. I thought to myself immediately, I have no place in that stage. There's nothing I can say that those people don't know already.
That's imposter syndrome.
And you also felt like you didn't arrive yet. You didn't.
I didn't have the
Who were you
accumulations
to be on that stage? Like, what did you have to say?
I don't have
And
the
did she
tension.
bring it? And did she bring it
And
on
she
that
brought it.
stage?
And I think
she brought the house
But that's
down.
the difference. And I think that,
And then I had to struggle with that. And those are things that nobody puts out there. Like you'll see the pictures of me on stage and a lot of people had a lot to say. But nobody's going to tell you what happened to Unides before she stepped on that stage.
Or
and
the
the
outfits that
conversation
you wanted
was
to wear.
You just reminded me of something that I'm going to share, and she's probably going to kill me for this. But, you know, imposters, let me just tell you, when you have those thoughts, don't think that you're going to be able to battle them on your own.
No.
Because let me tell you, this team right here is the same team that shut that little motherfucker down. Like, we immediately went into action. What did we do? Let's find her outfit. We still didn't have our talking points. Let's find her statement.
Let's dress her up. Hearing how we think.
The statement outfit, and after that, it was a
We
wrap.
got it.
It was a wrap, right?
Even if she fought us on what she
Like,
wanted to wear.
we were just
and then
impressed.
let's just
It was
talk
a
about that for a
backlist.
second.
A backlist.
The day of the event, I took 4 outfits to Indianapolis because I wasn't sure of what I was going to wear. I wanted to wear
Tell
a
them
black
the truth.
jumper.
Tell them the truth. The outfit
then
had
too-
the whole back out, and you didn't think it was appropriate.
She kept saying,
And
well, my
then
husband
you
bring
really
it
like
up
this
and
one.
they were like,
You
no.
went into the shower. You went in to go to the supermarket to go shopping. I was like, but I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It's one of those dresses that women wear. It's like a
like your
una
safety
bata.
net.
It's
like
like
you're
wow,
yeah.
like right after the pool.
But
Right
let me
after the
tell
pool
you,
day, you're sweat, like you know, you're like the sun is out and you're just like done.
Norris, but honestly, didn't the jumper with the back out now.
Yo,
Didn't that make her step
automatically.
into her
put the
power?
picture in the comments.
It made her
Please.
step into her power. Like at that moment,
Absolutely.
everything changed.
Yo,
And
she
so
But I
that
have
shit.
to say something though. That's where we all have choices. Because at the end of the day, guys, you see all of this, and whoever tells you that their life is perfect, that they own it, that they're
Oh my
good, and
God,
that they don't
it's
have
bullshit.
little me and big me
They
always
just
in a
arrive,
constant battle, in a sense, you always have to shut the little one down. However, we have choices because we could either, Unerva's had a choice to sit back and say, no thanks, I'm just not ready. And someone else would have taken her place. She decided to step into her own brilliance, own her voice, own the stage, and own her story. But with that said, she was challenged. And once the challenge comes about, you have a decision to make. Am I going to sit back and allow someone else to share their story while I'm here at the other end wishing that was me? And then feeling even more defeated because you didn't own up to your life because you were too scared to do so.
That was powerful.
I think you speak of personal experience.
Absolutely, because
Remember, there's a barrier.
Yeah.
Be nice.
No, I am being nice.
But
Because
it's
it
true.
just brings to mind when you were asked to speak, and you're like, yeah, but I
well,
can't.
this whole
What do I have to
experience for
bring?
me has been life changing, and honestly, till this day, I will always be in progress because you always are in that constant reflection of what am I doing? Am I supposed to? Like, really?
Entrepreneurship
Like,
is
who
hard.
are you?
It's not
What?
easy.
But at the end of the day, I know that I am living my best life authentically, and I'm still in progress. I haven't arrived. What I've chosen to do, what I've chosen to do is not allow my little me to interfere anymore. Because what happens to us is, at some point or another in our lives, we've always felt less than. Whether it was past relationships, and we can discuss this on another topic because that one's real and deep. But sometimes we want to fit into someone else's belief of what we should be. So you try to cover yourself and trim down because you don't want to be too much for certain people because you're going to cross the line. So you're trying to
But
fit
that's
into
the
a hold up.
imposter syndrome.
You might be a size 14 and you're trying to fit into the size 8 because that's what you know that the other person wants you to be. But you're not living to your potential. You're not living fully.
Amen.
Because you're living to their expectations of what you should be. But whatever happened to what you want to be?
And that's the thing where people get held back from achieving their dreams and feeling successful
Yes.
because they feel like, but if I do this, then I'm not living up to that person's standards.
That's why you have to eliminate other people's opinion of you because their opinion has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
And I like the way that you said that you never arrive. Because I think
No, you
a lot
never
of
arrive.
us
We've never, and people look at us or look at other people and they think, oh, they got it. You know, they're there. No, it's a work in progress. There's no arrival. There's no destination.
And I think the day you feel like you've arrived, take a seat. Because now you've
That's where the
tapped
work
yourself
begins.
from the learning path. You decided that you no longer have anyone to learn from. And I
And
think
that's a scary thing.
That's the biggest
Because that's where I
mistake.
want to be learning.
Yeah.
you want to know that, and here's the
Forever
other piece,
learn.
yo me enojo, because you can never feel like you've arrived because then that moment you let the little you take ownership and then you no longer
That's imposter
give
syndrome.
back.
Absolutely.
What
And
you're
that's
learning.
And we're meant to be more. We're meant to be the light. And we all have a story to share. The issue is that little me always tries to tell us, but it's not that big of a deal. Do you remember your past?
And then you
Do
deal
you
with
remember
trying
all
to
your
be
failures?
perfect.
And then you go back to who you came from.
Yeah, and the thing is that you basically have to learn how to crawl before you walk. It's so hard, you know. Things are not perfect. I know that I had a huge breakthrough in a place with actually all four because Mickey was present, and it was you guys who took me out of that feeling. You know, I was at a place where I wanted to be ahead, and I wasn't, and I kept feeling this big, and something was holding me back. I was being held back because of that little voice that kept telling me that I wasn't enough and that I wasn't so and so. And until that happened and that breakthrough happened, those baby steps, you know, I couldn't get to where I needed to be.
It kept stopping you.
It was stalling me.
So is that like, is there like a most recent experience where you felt like the imposter syndrome, like recently? Like I feel it all the
I
time.
think it happens on the daily.
Yeah, it happens on the daily.
Happens on a daily.
Especially, you know, for me, I in the line of work that we do, there's not too many minorities, there's not too many Latinos, and so whenever I'm selected or I'm put in a spot, just like Unides, to speak or to be part of a project that involves corporate, I always question, well, why me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do I bring to the table? And you know what, I bring a lot to the table because I'm in the line of work and I'm in the trenches, and I do, like, what I do has value, but I have to constantly say that.
For those who can't.
Exactly, and I have to constantly say that to myself and not allow, because like what you mentioned, Norris, when we go back to our past, I can easily let my past be what hinders me and makes it worse, because I'm just a girl who, you know, I'm a high school dropout, like that, you know, so that my limited mindset will never go away.
And that's that voice.
Yeah, that's that voice. And that's and I am a high school dropout, but I am a woman of power, a woman with a business, a woman who has value, a woman who helps other people. So that's what I constantly have to be saying. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna share with you 5 tips. So make sure, like Winnie said, that you have your pen and paper, notes, whatever you use to track. But we're gonna give you the 5 steps. And number 1 is remind yourself of your achievements. I'm huge on this. I don't know if you guys watched the first episode where we talked about, you know, a year in review and reviewing your year, your accomplishments, your failures. And most importantly, I'm a little bit different. Most people, they only focus on the accomplishments. I like to focus on failures. And I also like to give credit. I like to thrive on the good things that happen. Not so much my goals, but let's say, you know, of something happened within our friendships. Well, not only that, like I give energy to the things that I was present for, because that is ultimately what keeps me thriving. The things that were good. So in my notes, you will find my achievements and all of these highlights from 2016 on. I even do a video, like a year in review. I don't know if you guys have followed me. I've done it for the last 3 years, where I take a few minutes to just take a look back so that I can see how far I've gone, so I can see what the growth was like, and so that I can continue accomplishing things, and so that I can realize and shut down that voice, the imposter syndrome voice, that I can do things, that I am capable. Okay, and Norris will take number 2.
An interjection while Norris takes on. Remember that the last 5 minutes of this show, we're going to be answering your questions.
Yes.
So if you have any, please send them in the comment section below. We will be answering them. We have a few more minutes left.
I think we're all in the same journey. We're just leading our own path. Yeah. And it's a daily decision that you make, whether to listen to little me or accept that you are meant for more, right? So you want to make sure that you understand that perfection is overrated. Everyone is dealing with their own. And it's just a matter of you stepping out into your greatness, owning who you are, all of you, failures, strengths, everything, because that's what makes you you. And step out, and I'm going to take it from Lady Gaga because she really touched me. The Oscars are very recent, and if you guys listened to her speech, it was truly powerful because she had an ex-boyfriend. They broke up. They had a horrible relationship. He was an asshole. At one point, he's like, you're never going to amount to anything. You're a failure. I'm paraphrasing. I am not quoting her word for word. She, however, told him, don't worry. One day, you're going to enter a grocery store, and you're going to be so sick of listening to my name because I'm going to make it. So she didn't allow anyone or him or voices or negative Nellies to get in her way. She stepped in and she fought hard and she worked towards her dreams, because that is actually what we need to do. That is a prescription for success.
And that can cause people to sit in the couch, as she mentioned, you know, and look at her and feel frustrated, like, oh man, I'm such an ass because I didn't make it, and look at her.
So number 2. So before Norris, just so you guys have it in your notes, number 2 is that the biggest piece of advice that we can give you is that remember that nobody really knows what they're doing.
No one's really arrived. And if they've arrived, they need to sit back, reflect, and continue on.
And move on. And I think, you know,
as you were saying, like there's some things that you have to learn in the process and just learn to take baby steps in order to get there.
You know, you don't really know anybody until you really know them. You know, like don't let what you see on social media like crowd your vision towards a person. Like you have to really, like, I think that people have this misconception that because people are sharing their highlights on social media, that's what it is, and it's not. Like if you watch Lady Gaga's movie, I love that you quoted her. Nobody really knows. Like they can look at her pictures and see her in those designer dresses and that she wore all those $1 million jewels. But dude, that woman works night and day. Like her work ethic is impeccable.
And she just didn't receive all the yeses that got her to this point.
No,
Do you know all the failures of these? Come on.
Well, that's what leads us to number three, where you have to learn how to crawl before you walk. You know, and there is this there is this, what is it called? What is the word for what I'm looking for? Analogy that, you know, you go to, you're looking, you're so good. That's why you go inside.
That's why I'm in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. They set the baby in the corner. I like it.
So basically the analogy says that you can't go to a faucet and expect it to give you hot boiling water. You need to turn on that stove. You need to put, you put it in whatever the heck you're going to put it in. Let it boil, but you have to wait. It's not going to boil instantly. And that part is hard.
It has to look ugly before it looks pretty.
Yeah. And I think that's the big place where the imposter syndrome takes ownership. Because in that wait time is where I would say you lose the patience. You become desperate because you want things, and especially nowadays we want things.
And that's where that chatter comes in. You see, I told you it's not going to work. Because it's taking too long.
And you start feeding into
that. And then you start feeding into that, and then that's when you become in that little cha-cha dance. Like, am I in? Am I not?
And we're all in the perfect business to know enough that the people that come and join us, we see a lot of that happen. They walk in to our challenge groups, and a lot of them, and this has nothing to do with business, but just explaining, they think that week 2, they're supposed to see a certain something, but you haven't gotten to week 3 and to week 4 in the breakthrough, and haven't given it a chance. You gotta crawl before you walk.
Another good one too with that is the microwave effect. I think that we are living in the microwave. You want instant gratification.
People want it right away, right now.
And we fail to see that good things take time. Oh, yeah. And that's how my father always says this. It's in Spanish, pero lo barato sale caro.
Oh, yes.
So take time. Appreciate where you are in your journey. Embrace it. Lessons are there to be learned, so you don't repeat them, right? And always move forward. I think that this path will always lead us into so much more.
And number 4, and we are famous for this, is pep talk yourself to death. Plaster this all over your everything, because it may look crazy, but let me just tell you that this is the one thing that I do, and I think I forget that I do this, and it's immediately shuts down that voice. And so it's going to look a little bit like, start saying something like this, like the opposite. So for example, when I'm asked to do something that involves, let's say when I was on the advisory board, when they called me and the first thing that came to mind was, I don't belong there. Like, what am I going to bring to the table? Instead, I do belong there. I do bring something to the table. And I am, they will value me. And just say the opposite of what it is that you're saying to yourself. And I promise you that it's going to change your life.
And I think it's important to say your name. Like one thing that I have always done is I take Bible verses, and let's say it'll say Joshua, te he dicho, be brave and take on. I always say Ulises, te he dicho que seas valiente, que te vaya y haga.
And don't just try one day, guys, because this is something, the mindset is something that you have to feed. Like, you're the person that you listen to the most. You're the only person that you're going to listen to the most in life. And so in order for this to work, you got to give it a couple of weeks, and you have to do it continuously, and over time you will see yourself shift.
And it becomes automatic, and suddenly the little voice, you recognize it so well that you're like, oh, get the heck out of here, I have things to do. Like, get out of my own way.
But sometimes it's not so automatic. Sometimes it takes time. You need women and friends like this in your life, because I know it took me a very long time to own my brilliance. Like, I remember Saudi would say to me, like, own it. Like, I'm giving you a gift, and what would my immediate reaction be?
Oh my God, she would completely, and that was an issue. Like, she wouldn't want to receive a gift.
That's what happened today with your gift, right? When she bought me a gift, and I was like,
and that's a part of being, you have to want to receive. And you have to have the ability to control your thoughts, guys. Like, everybody's always like commenting and chatting that they want, they want us to motivate them. The only person that can motivate you is yourself. And so having control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors under stress and just, eliminate being afraid and look at yourself in the mirror and start saying things out loud to yourself is going to change. I'm telling you, we're big on this. We're big on the mirror. Norris is like huge on the mirror. And this is going to make you do things anyway, even if you're afraid.
And you have to control, like, this is the reason why you will always have people that surround you. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be moments when you want to be alone with yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you have the negative chatter in your voice and you're following the lead of your imposter syndrome, the little you, you're not going to go far places. But if you learn to shut the little you down and allow the bigger you, your best version of you that is inside of you, you were born with that, to thrive, but you're going to have to uncover that. It's not going to be done by Saudi. It's not going to be done by
So
Morris,
it's like speaking to yourself from like if you were your own best friend.
We are here to support one another and to guide each other, but at the end of the day, it's you against you.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, everybody will abandon you, and it will be you with you. And I will close with the final
number 5
advice. It's actually 4, I think, but I don't know.
It's 5.
It's all right. But what I think is super important for us right now is we're gonna have to put a filter. You know how people use filters for their pictures and all of that? Well, I want us to put a filter, and before you accept something as real, pass it through the filter.
Oh, but make sure it's not a big filter. You know how those filters and then everything comes in? Make sure it's a really narrow
one. And be very particular as to what is it that you're accepting. And what I mean by this is we have a feed. And feed is something that you're being spoon-fed into. Like they're giving it to us. And Instagram and social media and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of these little, platforms that are a blessing in disguise, because obviously we have met through it.
Yes.
But it can also be really, I guess, traumatic to people who have the big imposter syndrome huge in their lives.
It turns off people's mindsets.
So put what you see and put it through the filter, and then check yourself. And understand that the picture perfect life you see in a pose is not completely 100% real. That the lives you see streaming on social are not 100% real.
Life is not picture perfect.
Take it with a grain of salt. And don't you dare take that life and put it against as a comparison game to your life. Because your life is completely different than my life. Your struggle is different than mine. I'm only here as an imperfect soul sharing my struggles and how I overcame them. But don't put me on no pedestal. Don't put Norris on a pedestal.
And that's our time.
None of us. Because it takes work on a daily basis to raise a family, to show up, to maintain your hair nice and
nobody's
clean.
Talking about what they're battling, body image. They're not talking about,
Failures happen every single day.
Depression, anxiety.
A lot of people are dealing with all of that, and most of us are unwilling to be vulnerable and share it. And I understand not to air all of your dirty laundry, and you don't want everything to be out there, because some people
we just have to take it for what it is and not let ourselves get pigeonholed into the whole thing.
And if you notice that you're feeling some sort of way because you're following this girl, and now you feel like your husband has to act this way because her husband is perfect, then do me a favor and unfollow. Because you're like, I used to think that my husband had to be like one of the novela guys, because that's what I was brought up with.
He looks like a novela guy.
But boy, was I in for a reality check when I married a real person, And whenever you feel some sort of negative feelings against your personal life, and you feel like your life sucks because look at how good she lives, go ahead and unfollow and just find yourself another person to go and get inspired by.
Seriously. And if you have no idea where to start, you know how there's companies, every company has a mission statement? Have a mission statement for your life. What's your mission in this life? What's your mission? apply it, create a vision for it, and then work towards that, taking action on every single day. So you're no longer comparing yourself to anyone else. You're going by your standard.
We have questions?
We have questions. I know this is a very extensive topic, but I think
we'll revisit it next week again.
We can talk more about it.
You know what? One thing. I see so many of you saying such amazing stuff and thanking us for this topic. I don't know if you follow all of us, but these two sisters are having an amazing event on March 9th, which we're all going to be at. If you are in need of a sisterhood, if you're in need of just hearing soothing words or just sitting there with women who get you, join us. Come and listen to them talk. I promise you, you will walk out of there super full. If you don't know where to find the link, we'll post it here below. And any questions, any show topics that you guys have for us, please comment below. We really value your time. Time is probably the most essential things you guys can give us, and we really appreciate you guys.
Yes.
And I appreciate your comments. Thank you, Yamilet.
Yes.
We appreciate you acknowledging. She says, thank you so much for this encouragement. You don't even know how much I needed to hear this. Awesome. And yes, we do need that filter daily, and that's how we become. Awesome. I think I don't see any questions.
So the last thing I'll say, so treat what we said like a Jedi mind trick, okay? And I love using little phrases so that it can help you kind of like just say to yourself, okay, let me go back to that topic where the girls talked about this imposter syndrome. So the Jedi mind trick is to really just make yourself believe that you can achieve what you want. Okay? You can all achieve what you want, and it doesn't take, like you can take 100% ownership of what you feed your mind today. Today is the day that you do that. Today is the day that you stop allowing the negativity clutter you and stop you from doing the things that you know that you can do. You can all do big and hard things. You just have to talk yourself into it.
And here's the challenge. You have learned something.
Teacher.
So pass the baton.
Yes.
So you have been empowered. You probably have some positive nugget that you can add value to. You heard something from one of us, you connected. Share this video with somebody else. Send it to them. We usually upload as well onto YouTube. And if you don't follow us, you can also follow us there and send that link. Because you never know who you're blessing by helping them sometimes open their mindset. Maybe you as a friend can get to them, but they'll listen to one of us and be like, what she said is so true. And you've been saying it all along.
Yep.
Yeah, your kids.
So we love you for being our loyal friends, and we will be back next week.
And post questions below, topics you want to see, and we'll
post
see you guys
questions. We're gonna be answering.
next week. Be blessed.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.